make sure you grab different color spray paints, different size thread edges, and everyday household items like cups or lids. My name is Arturo Lopez, and I created Spraycasso Studios back in 1999. I have then continued to show people diverse ways of creating master paintings in just a few minutes using nothing more than just spray paints and everyday household items. The beauty of this art is that you don't have to have a steady hand or know how to draw. All it requires is a little bit of imagination and some dedication. So join us, and you too can become a Spraycasso master. I will walk you through diverse techniques of creating beginner level paintings, intermediate level paintings and techniques, advanced level paintings, and we'll take your skills even further to master level paintings. So if you guys are ready to embark into a new art adventure, then grab your spray paints and materials. Let's get started. Hey crew, alright, so this is going to be a beginner level painting. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. Before we begin, I want to remind you guys to always wear a mask. The heavier duty, the better. You can always get those little paper ones. They work okay. But if you want better protection, pay the extra, what, 10 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever they're worth. Buy something like this. Alright, so we're going to use the basic colors. Nothing too extravagant. We're going to use the red, blue, white, yellow, orange, brown, black. Make sure that your paints are gloss. So whenever you get black, get gloss black, gloss white. Don't get a flat black or a flat white. They don't work very well. You're going to need some stencils. By stencils, I mean you can go around the house, find a plate, an old bowl that you don't use. In this case, this came with the little cake. I can't remember what it was from, but as you can tell, it still has the label on top. I just put some duct tape on there. And basically what this is going to do is going to be our planet stencil. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a stencil, a planet with a stencil. So everyday household items, guys. Bowls, lids, cups, whatever you can find. Alright, if you guys are ready, we're going to begin. I'm going to teach you guys layering and texturing. So we're going to create a planet. I think I'm going to make this blue with white. Blue and white. So I'm just going to add a little bit of blue here. A little bit of white on top. You're also going to need magazine sheets, guys. Good old fashioned magazine. Any type of magazine. Has to be glossy though. Don't get the newspaper kind. A little bit of white on top of that. Now take a look at this texture. You're going to get your magazine sheet. You're going to place it on top. Just like that, and remove. And the more times you do it, the more texture you get. So it looks kind of a bit of like an icy planet. Put your stencil on top, you'll be able to see what your planet's going to look like. See? Alright, so I want to add a little more texture. I don't know about you guys, but I want to add some more texture. So let's make it a little bit bigger. Oh, got to add some white on top. There's two times that I'll tell you the opposite. You always want to put your warmer colors underneath and then your lighter colors on top. There is some exceptions to the rule, but that is for a more intermediate level class. Alright, so we put our blue and then we put our white on top. Now we're going to take this here stencil. We're going to drop it right about there. Okay, that looks about right. Using our black, I'm going to create a shadow. Now this is very important, guys. You really need to do this. You're going to have to paint over what you just made. I know, a lot of people are going to have a bit of an issue with this part. But I'm telling you, it's very important to add your shadows. Now notice I'm using quick bursts. I'm not just like letting the spray paint land on the planet and continuously let it run. You want to do quick bursts. So get to know your cans. Make sure you shake them, which I already did before the recording began. Shake them and spray them off in a trash can somewhere. Just kind of let them run. Let the drying chemicals run out. There we go. Now notice how we go from a dark to a light, a nice little 3D effect. See that? Alright, now what you're going to want to do, you're going to put your stencil right on top of that, like that. Then you're going to cover that with black. Now guys, whenever you buy your spray paints, buy 2 of each color. That way you can do what I did here. You spray paint them, you color them. That way whenever you're looking for a spray can, you don't get the wrong one by accident. Believe me, that happens a lot. Yours truly has done it many, many times. And I've been spray painting for over 16 years. So believe me, accidents can happen. I'm going to use blue. We're going to create a nebula. This is going to be a little bit of a combination of space painting and a little bit of terrain painting. So it's going to be a nice little combination. We're going to add a little bit of red. Now remember, when you start mixing these colors, when your red blends with your blue, you get, that's right, purple. Right, so you're going to get a nice transition between blue, purple, and red. And yes, that's the effect we're wanting to use. Okay, I'm also going to use a little bit of green here. This is just going to make it very colorful. Now notice, once again, short bursts. I'm not doing anything that makes the paint run. And I'm also about close to a foot away from the painting. Alright, now I don't want to cover the entire negative space being the canvas itself. Well, I'm going to remove my stencil for now. Oh, or not, let it stay there. Which is actually better for what we're looking for. A little bit of black. And I'm going to cover the edges. And not just the edges, but I'm also going to cover some of that negative space here. Notice I'm about a foot away from the canvas itself. And it's starting to take shape, huh? Once again, guys, this is going to be a space nebula. Okay, so I don't want to make it too obvious that we painted this. I want there to be some randomness to it, so the nebula kind of looks like it's flowing. All right, to create the star technique, guys, we're going to need white. This is gloss white. Now, this is the exiting point, right here where my finger is pointing, right? Right here, it's going that way. We don't want to do that to our painting because the whole burst will cover your entire painting, whatever you've done, completely white. So what you're going to want to do is, remember, where my finger's pointing, that's the exit point. You want to twist it this way, 45-degree angle away from the painting. You want the painting to sputter, so what you're going to do, very gently, and it's a little bit harder when it's a new can, but you can get there. Give me a second. Here we go. Look at that. Instant stars. And the beauty about this is that you'll get some dots that are bigger than others that are smaller, making this, giving you some depth to your painting. And being that this is outer space, it goes great with what we're doing. You'll see a lot of spray painters out there that'll teach you that you'll spray some on your hand and kind of sputter it. Yeah, that kind of works, but I like this technique better. It's a little bit cleaner. I say that and then I clean myself with the can. Alright, so now you have a nebula. We've learned the nebula technique using 3 different colors, right? We used the blue, the red, and the green. We learned the space technique, which is basically just black, guys. And then we used a texture technique, right, where we used the blue and the white and a little bit of shadow to create the planet. Now I'm leaving this up here until I'm done. It'll be the nice little surprise for you guys at the end. Now we're going to create a terrain, a very basic terrain to create, guys, especially since this is a beginner level painting. Is you get some orange. This is what I call the spray on spray technique. A little bit of orange. Here we go. It's okay if you get into that nebula. Look at that. Just like that. Okay. We're going to use a little bit of... What happens when you mix black and orange? Yeah, you get brown. So I know I'm going to get brown if I put black on top of this. Alright, these are all very vital techniques, guys, to learn before going into a more intermediate level style of painting. Like anything, with a little bit of practice, you guys will definitely get there in no time. Just remember this piece of magazine sheet. We're going to tear off a piece. Just like that. Now, part of the liquefy technique, or the spray on spray technique, the liquefy technique will come later. We want to remove the layers from on top to show the layers below. In this case, we take our magazine sheet and we just kind of, look at that, combine and smear at the same time. See that? Not doing anything too extravagant, guys, just tapping and removing. And that gives us such a neat little effect with our terrain here. Very realistic. And then I'll show you a layering technique to give more depth to your painting. Okay, now I do want some of this excess paint to show here on the bottom. Now you're saying, well, you said you were going to show us a layering technique. Absolutely. We're going to use a little bit of black, just like this. And we're just going to darken the edges a little bit. What this is going to do, it's going to make this kind of fade into the background a little bit. We're going to take some more orange. Once again, start black, and we want to fade some of this in the background. Right, using our magazine sheet, just tear off in a different piece. This is the same sheet that we used on this above. Cut this off. We're going to come back one more time. Now look what I'm doing. I'm placing and removing. These techniques, guys, will definitely get you recognized in the world of spray painting. Okay, once again, I do want some of this to show here on the bottom, because we're going to use that as a reflection type. Okay, now we're going to use a little bit of blue, and you're going to need a straight edge, something like this. You can get the bigger ones as well, which I actually recommend for something this size. So you're going to put your straight edge right about here. Now you don't want to completely cover it, but you do want to make the definition where the land ends and the water begins. Just like that. And let's do this a little bit up here. You can always change your mind. And we're just going to fade that blue into that bottom. Just like that. See that, guys? Very cool, huh? Alright. What I want to create, though, is another piece of terrain coming down here. You guys remember how to do that? Using that spray on spray technique. A little bit of orange here. A little bit of orange here. Guys, with a little bit of practice, you guys can do this. You'll be spray painting, creating your own masterpieces in no time. As I said before, I used to do oils. Actually, I was pretty good in oils. But I've been doing this for about 17 years. And you guys may recognize me from the PBS show that I had at one point. Spraycasso, the art of spray painting. Where we basically cover all these techniques that you're seeing right here. I tore off a piece of magazine. Doesn't need to be that big. You can do it with even smaller ones. Look at that. This is pretty simple, right? I mean, you don't need to have an artist's hand to be able to create something like this. You just gotta have a magazine sheet, few basic spray paint colors, and you can create something like this in no time. Alright? I'm gonna do this one more time, guys, only because I feel that I can get a better grip on some of these stars that didn't quite come out as good as I thought I'd wanted them to come out. We all have that. We're all a bit of perfectionists at times. Look at that. Awesome. Okay. Alright, for this next technique, guys, we're going to need our gloss white and the painting to be flat. Most of the time, guys, the paintings have to be flat, but, you know, to be able to better show you, I had it on a little stand. What we're going to do, you see the point right there, right? What we're going to do is we're going to put it, we're not going to put it flat against the painting. What you want to do is you want to tilt it just a little bit. So by now, and this has just been a few minutes, it should be dry. As you guys know, spray paint has a drying chemical which allows it to dry rather quickly. What we're going to do here is we're going to place it right about here, right? And we want to point away from our painting, and we're just going to give it a quick tap on top. So it'll be tap. Look at that, instant comet. That comet techniques, guys. We're gonna do another one right about here. Okay, what do you guys think? One more? Maybe not? Now then, oh, you know what? I think I know what I want to do. Let's get a little bit of orange. I'm gonna spray a little bit of orange right about here, right next to our planet. Look at that, just like that. Then with our yellow, oh, I'm glad. See, it's always safe before you do something that requires detail to kind of pre-spray, kind of find out how your paint's gonna look, how the paint's gonna come out. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna use a little bit of yellow right about here. That'll give us a nice little sunburst. All right, we're gonna move this up a little bit. Now, I'm gonna spray a little bit of white here off on the side. In fact, I'll do it right here so you guys can see. Right here. A little bit of white. And a little bit of blue. Magazine sheet. We're just going to fold a piece. Now you don't want to fold it completely where it's completely full. You want to leave it in the shape of a U. Just going to tap into it. Going to tap onto our painting. Maybe we can have some water running right about here. Maybe another one right here. What do you guys think? Right here? So look at that. It's mixing with the paints below as we're tapping down. Now, with the straight edge and our white, what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna put this right here like this. See, but we're gonna spray right. Well, in fact, I'll use this side so you guys can see where I'm spraying. I'm not spraying directly onto the paint. I'm spraying off right here, off the straight edge, and let the mist fall onto the page. I'll do it like this so you guys can see. Look at that, instant waterfall. And you can create a nice little effect if you don't put them all in a straight edge. See, that just gives your painting a little bit more of a surrealistic dimension going on. Alright guys, well I hope you guys are ready to see what we've painted. Alright, so now let's reveal it guys. Take a look at that. Alright, so now we've learned several basic techniques which will help you get into a more intermediate level. We learned the space technique, the nebula technique, the star technique, texture technique, sunlight. I taught you the spray on spray technique to help you create more realistic looking terrains. Another wet on wet technique where I showed you how to create little waterfalls. Using a straight edge we were able to create the water falling below. We used once again the terrain technique right here on the bottom. So you guys have now created your very first masterpiece using nothing more than spray paint, an everyday household item. Now what I would recommend you guys use, get some clear coat and clear coat your painting. It'll give it a really nice gloss. And it'll also help you protect your painting. What you do is just come in, back and forth. Also, the clear coat is very important as it will keep your painting moist. Why is that important? Well, it'll allow you to create a few more effects, add a few more layers, or in my case, notice how I'm adding a little bit extra clear coat here on the bottom. My signature, you get something that's nice, and you can use an old ball paint that doesn't work. Spraycasso 2015. Alright crew, well I hope you guys have enjoyed your painting. Join me next time as we do a more intermediate level painting. Till next time crew, keep those cans shaking.